Hey guys, welcome back to the Beyond the Game podcast. My name is Jess Crowe, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, sports anchor, match presenter, announcer, energy provider, if you will. Sammy, please introduce yourself and tell everyone what we're going to be talking about today.
Definitely. First and foremost, thank you so much for having me on your show, Jess. It's always lovely to catch up with you. Right, as you, I think you've kind of summed it up really well. Across countries, across stadiums, across tournaments, I go spreading the energy and ensuring that everybody who's bought a ticket has a very, very good time. Of course, the cricketers are doing their bit, but sometimes when it becomes slow, I think that's when I come in and ensure that, we have a very memorable game at the end of the day. So while that is what I do, of course, as you know, I've done it across tournaments, ICC tournaments, ILT20 tournaments, the IPL in India. But today, I think our focus, Jess, should definitely be on the Asia Cup that is coming up. With the jersey that I'm wearing, I think I don't need to say which team I'm supporting and who are the strong favorites to win it. But I think we should also look at why maybe India is the favorite to win it. And if at all, there is some sort of a competition that India is going to face from the other countries and the other teams that are there. Along with that, I think let's also quickly take a look at a couple of squads. Like I said, if, we feel that there is a potential threat to India, maybe we should take a look at some of the players over there. And I'm kind of counting on you to make this fun for both of us going forward from here. So yeah, let's get going.
Excellent. What an introduction. Well, let's start with the 8 teams then. We've got India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, UAE, Oman, and Hong Kong as well. Obviously, as you say, India potentially coming in as favourites to the competition. But let's start back at the start then. So the competition, the Asia Cup, has been around. It's 1984, one of the longest running continental tournaments in cricket in the world as well. And the format used to be ODI up until 2016 when they sort of introduced the T20 format as well. What did you make of this change, Sammy?
I think that was a need of the hour as well. If you look at broadcasts across the world, and how that's essentially how from where the money is coming, a majority part of it is, of course, levied on T20 cricket, because you see that it is the most popular format right now. And I think it was a very, very good choice to make it a T20 game. 50 over cricket has its own charm. I always say this. It is one of the toughest formats in the world to play, the 50 over cricket, because it's kind of a mix of, aggression and patience at the same time. But having said that, I think a tournament like where we have not everyone across the world coming and joining like a World Cup, I always feel that, a regional tournament like this where the Asian teams are getting together, T20 just makes it that much more fun. So I am absolutely in favor of this tournament, the Asia Cup, being a T20 tournament.
Excellent. And now we say the teams are split into 2 groups. We've got Group A, Group B. Group A is India, Pakistan, Oman, UAE. Group B, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Hong Kong, and Sri Lanka as well. But let's start with India. They're a very strong team, as we all know. 8 Asia Cup titles, that's more than any other team. What makes them so strong, do you think?
Everybody talks about how strong the cricket board is of India, the BCCI, and they talk about how we have the muscle power, the money power, and all of that. I think what most people kind of forget is the amount of work that BCCI has done to create a system in India where, standing today, right, I think we are in a position to actually get 3 T20, 3 ODI, and 3 test teams of India playing out there. And that is the system that has been created. To answer your question, what makes it so strong, I think the domestic cricket circuit has been really good. If you're just talking about this format, the T20 format, there are regional leagues that are happening right after the IPL gets over. For example, Delhi has the Delhi Premier League. Saurashtra, they have the Saurashtra Premier League. And that essentially becomes a hotbed for talent to come and not just kind of impress the scouts of the IPL, but also giving them that kind of an exposure, because they are rubbing shoulders with players who have not just played the IPL, but have also played for India. That kind of exposure, I feel, is what is making India the powerhouse that it is today. Of course, the BCCI has done a lot of work, to make it happen. If we just go back in time, look at the kind of programs that have got us players like an MS Dhoni, who even like what 20-25 years back, no one would even imagine that a player from Jharkhand, which is one of the smallest states in the country, would come and captain the Indian cricket team, and that too so successfully. Named the ICC tournament, MS has got it under his belt. That is the kind of work that has actually gone in. So while I travel across India right after the IPL, hosting like I said, Saurashtra, Delhi, UP, these are the tournaments that kind of make me very confident of what the pipeline has in the future as well. If we just talk about the Asia Cup, right? I think India, there was a time when the India-Pakistan rivalry was really at its peak, with the likes of the Wasim Akrams, the Waqar Yunuses, and the Aqib Javeds of the world versus the Tendulkars and the Azharuddins kind of going head to head. I think that is something that I really miss, because now it's not really a matchup. You know what I mean? All the odds across formats are stacked towards India because they have just become that team, that very, very strong team. It's something that I miss. In fact, while we are at it, and I'm kind of just going back in my head, I think Sri Lanka, for that matter, were one of the teams, right? 1996 World Cup champions, in Asia again. So that's the kind of rivalry that we've had. India's kind of seen that through. Of course, I think out of all the Asian teams, India has been the team that have performed consistently and have also, like I said, made that system wherein if one player gets injured, there are four raising their hands and saying, I'm ready to take that place, and doing a very good job at it. So I think overall, that's where we are.
Absolutely. And we'll get into those matchups and that rivalry between India and Pakistan in more detail very shortly. But let's look at India again then. So they've just won the Champions Trophy in Dubai earlier this year. This familiarity with that pitch and that wicket and playing conditions then, do you think that kind of gives them a bit of confidence going into this competition?
It's funny because Dubai has always been the ground which has not kind of been very favorable to India. If you go back to 2021, the T20 World Cup happened over there. It was the first time that Pakistan beat India in a World Cup match, and that happened in Dubai. Under Virat's captaincy, of course, we didn't play well at all. We lost by 10 wickets, which is unheard of. But Dubai has always been that place. Of course, it's so close to India. A lot of Indian players actually go there. We have a very good exchange happening. Some players come over here as well. But at the same time, I feel that it's not just the familiarity, but I feel that a lot of work has gone into analyzing the conditions very well that India has kind of done over the last, I think after the 21 World Cup defeat to Pakistan, I think that is when we kind of got up and said, hey, you know what? Dubai, we always feel it's a home ground, but it really is not. It is outside the subcontinent, and we really need to take a look at that. And I think out of all the teams that are playing this tournament, India have been able to analyze the conditions and the different pitches. You've been to Dubai, you've worked in Dubai, you've seen the cricket in Dubai. There are these pitches which are like batting paradises. But then there is that one pitch which, I think it is pitch number 4, if I'm not mistaken. Either 4 or 5, I'm not sure, right? But it is that one pitch which on its day has a mind of its own. So those are the low-scoring games. Those are the ones which make it a little difficult and a little tricky for you to call. But I always say this, if you are winning the toss in Dubai, always bat second, always chase. If you chase, because the conditions just kind of change over a period of time, right? Post that 8 o'clock, 8:30, I think is something in the air, that desert air. Something is going on over there, yeah. It is. So something's going on over there. So if you chase, your chances of winning, of course, go up. So yeah, let's see Dubai. I'm really excited. What about you? Are you coming over there? Okay, should we go and watch a match? Why not?
Yeah, 100%. Let's go and watch a match over there. While we're there, let's go and do it. Yeah, but no, I think you're dead right. The pitches can be so unpredictable over there, and especially with if there's dew around or if it's humid, or I've seen they've just moved the games to later on in the day because of the heat, and it's still 45, 50 degrees Celsius over there at the minute. It's still, yeah, it's definitely difficult for the players. So yeah, you're completely right in those changing pitches, and of course, not that they're playing there, but I mean Sharjah, that is batter's paradise. I mean, the scores I've seen there, unbelievable, right?
Absolutely. And Sharjah has always been like a very happy hunting ground for India. Go back in time. Of course, everybody remembers Sachin's Desert Storm in that stadium. But apart from that, also even if you just turn the clock back a little more, the early 90s, India's consistently done well, and not just India. I think Pakistan has also consistently done well at that stadium. It's also because the conditions are very, very similar to what we have in this part of the world. The pitch also is like you said, a batting paradise. Sometimes it's so flat and it's so shiny. The ball comes on so well to the bat, then you can actually go and see the reflection of the batter standing there. It's that flat, right? So of course, Sharjah is a very happy hunting ground for each one of the Asian teams.
100%. Okay, now let's get into a few of the players then. So for India, we've got captain Surya Kumar Yadav. He obviously took over the official captaincy from Rohit Sharma back in the back end of last year after the World Cup as well. How have you taken to him leading the group?
I think he's done a phenomenal job, if you ask me, right? He has been that kind of a captain who is... So, the Indian team has had a captain like a Virat Kohli, who's very, very expressive, always out there, going right after the players and very, very, like, it's very emotional. Like, you see the emotions flowing on the ground. It's very expressive, right? Then we had somebody like Rohit Sharma. Rohit Sharma with his players, he's like a big brother, And you're going through a bad time. Come, let's go out for dinner. I'm going to talk to you about that. That is the kind of captain that Rohit Sharma has been. Surya Kumar Yadav, he is, I think, a very good mix of both. He's got the temperament wherein he is calm. And I see a lot of... I know I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but I see a lot of MS Dhoni in Surya Kumar Yadav. He's calm, he's cool, he's taking those decisions, and he's backing his players. At the same time, you just don't see him kind of going all out and punching the air, doing all of that. So if you ask me, I feel that Surya is a great choice for a captain. And also, when he got the captaincy, I think the board was looking at him as an interim captain because, they were looking at grooming another younger player, and all of those discussions were going on. And that is when Surya Kumar Yadav, of course, backed his stake at captaincy with great performances in the IPL. And he said, I think the board thought that maybe let's give him a chance. Let's see how it goes. And it's gone so well that now he's just like become the T20 captain. However, having said that, I think Shubman Gill is waiting in the wings, That is definitely there. The test captaincy has been handed over to him already. But let's see. That is, I think, how he grooms up to kind of take up the T20 captaincy. He's proven himself with the Gujarat Titans now that I think, the first season under his captaincy didn't go that well. I think they finished last in the table. This was last year, and this year I think they did really well. Although they did not qualify for the finals, but they did quite well under his captaincy. But to answer your question, Surya Kumar Yadav, I see a lot of MS in him.
But I think, yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree with you. And let's look at the bowler. Then we've got Jasprit Bumrah, obviously, arguably the best T20 bowler in the world. I'm not sure who's arguing with that. Thoughts on him?
I mean, do I really need to speak about him? He is one of those guys. It's like somebody... It's like saying, all right, tell me something about Sachin Tendulkar's batting. I think that is what Jasprit Bumrah is of the current time when it comes to a fast bowler for India. I think he's done enough and more for the country. Unfortunately, all of that workload has taken a toll on his back, and we don't really have him available throughout or as much as we would have loved to have him. But even the ones in which he comes in, I think he's just that match winner, and that difference, a 30% difference that you have between the Indian team and the other teams. We were talking about this right at the beginning, that why are India so strong? I think over a period of time, we always had the batting. The batting has been really strong for India throughout, but it is the fast bowling department led by Jasprit Bumrah that makes the difference now, wherein India can just go to any part of the world and say that, hey, we are now going to kind of, challenge the big ones, even in South Africa or in England now, as you can see. But he is the guy, I feel, that who kind of is the difference maker in the team, and a lot to learn for the younger guys who are coming in. I'll give you a, since you're from England, I think we should talk about a little bit of football in this cricket. So when Ronaldo came back to Manchester United, unfortunately it didn't end the way it should have ended. But having said that, I personally felt that more than the goals that Ronaldo scores, it's players like Rashford who are going to benefit the most, because you have like this chest of experience, and you as a striker, you get to learn so much from somebody like that, how to adapt to situations, how to think, how to approach. So I think that is what Jasprit Bumrah is to the Indian cricket team as well. As we all know, he's coming towards the end of his career. So I think probably a couple of years more is what's left in him. And yes, if of course the workload management works the way it is working, we'll probably add another year or two. But having said that, I look at him as a talisman who wins us matches, but at the same time, a great mentor for all the young fast bowlers who are coming into the system and into the team.
Very, very good perspective. Okay, let's look at Hardik Pandya then. He's a power hitter, pace bowler, can change the game with bat and ball, wealth of experience, as we've seen in both IPL and his years of playing for India as well. He can come down the order with power. He's a destructive player. Is he the destructive player you would want in your team?
Absolutely 100% every single day of the week. Because Hardik Pandya, we also have to understand, is not just somebody who can bat, but he can bowl seam up, right? And if you see, I think he is the kind of bowler who all kind of gives you that depth in your bowling. On a bad day when your bowlers are getting hit, you can always look at a Hardik Pandya to come in and pick up a couple of wickets, or just slow the game down a little. So he is definitely an all-rounder I would have in my team every single day of the week, like I said. And without Hardik Pandya, I don't know why. I still feel that some tables in our rooms still question why Hardik Pandya is getting selected. And I feel that is, I don't know, what does that guy need to do, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think he's done everything. Go back to 2024, right? Just look at the finals. He's come from a horrid IPL, okay? Every stadium that he's gone to, he's gotten booed. Why? Because of, and I always say this, right? All he did was put down his conditions. But the kind of flack that this guy got, I understand Rohit Sharma is like a demigod in India. Of course, no one's taking that away. But why give that kind of flack to one of your own players? I never understood this. And then comes the World Cup, 30 of 30, South Africa, just cruising to victory. And this guy comes in, and he gets a wicket of Henrik Larsson. I don't know how many people remember that. And I was talking about Hardik with the ball, right? That wicket, I feel, is where the momentum kind of shifted. And of course, everybody knows the last over, 16 to defend. Rohit Sharma gives him the ball. And this is what he's done over a period of time. You don't know when that guy is just going to explode. He's that kind of a player. And he has to be in the squad. I mean, what are we even debating? Come on, Jess.
No, very, very good points. Okay, then finally with the India squad, then let's look over at our spinners. We've got Varun Chakrabarti, who had a very good Champions Trophy, which might show us a little bit about the Dubai pitch, maybe being a bit more suited for that spin. Abu Dhabi, of course, is particularly suited to spin in the daytime, but as we've just said, games are obviously pushed further in the evening now. There might be a little bit of dew around. Would this make it difficult for the spinners to play, do you think?
I think we are at a time now where the spinners are already practicing for the conditions. Maybe 7 years back, 10 years back, dew would become a factor. I'm not saying that we can take dew completely out of the picture now. But having said that, these bowlers have all been practicing how to bowl when the ball is wet. And I think that has really, really worked, especially in India's favor. Varun Chakravarti is the same guy who got hammered in 2021, the T20 World Cup at the same stadium in Dubai, right? So it was great to see him coming back, and of course, life was a full circle for him for when he played the Champions Trophy and got those important wickets. But Varun Chakravarti, over a period of time, and I've had the chance to see him very closely at KKR as well. I feel that he is the kind of bowler who is going to be like a difference maker in the spin department in like a place like Dubai with those pitches. And he's really, really kind of worked on his bowling. He's really worked on his temperament. He's worked on his fitness. Having said all of that, of course, Varun Chakravarti has a very good cricketing mind. If you go back in time and see from where he started with tennis ball cricket, right? So tennis ball cricket, of course, lays a foundation for you, which I think in India works very well for most of the players. So I have a lot of expectations of Varun Chakravarti, and I also feel that he is going towards a direction where eventually he spearheads the spin attack for India.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, rivals then, Pakistan. They know the UAE conditions extremely well, as that was, of course, their home venues for 10 years. Will this give them the confidence they might need as a team heading into the competition, do you think?
What do you think about it? I'm going to start by turning the tables on you on this one. What do you think?
Well, I think it's interesting because, of course, UAE will know the conditions. They're the hosts. It's their home venue. They will know conditions like the back of their hand. They will know the pitches. They will know how the pitches age throughout the match. They'll know it all. Pakistan also have that advantage, having it been their home ground for the last 10 years. I think it was up till 2019. It was in fact their home ground.
Yeah.
So we're not talking that long ago. They've stopped playing there. So yeah, I think the home advantage is definitely a factor that comes into play. We know the unpredictability of Pakistan and how they are capable of playing. So I think coming in with that, as I say, unpredictability, it definitely will give them that little bit of a leg up they might need. Leg up confidence going into the competition 100%.
Before we do that, I think I completely agree with you. I think what kind of what is a problem with Pakistan is that they've not had the consistency. They have not, and that is what separates an India from an Pakistan. India performing consistently throughout and still getting flack. Pakistan, they've just been hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. You don't know what to expect from them on any given day, right? I think the balance of the team is also something which I think we're getting into right now while we talk about the team. I think the balance of the team is something that had me raise my eyebrows a couple of times with a couple of the players. But you need to really have a core team. Do they have that? Let's find out.
I think, let's start with three of their sort of the players that maybe stand out to me the most. Bowler, Shaheen Afridi, left-arm pacer, leader of the pack, really, wealth of experience. As I say, knows the UAE conditions. He's played in the IPL. We've both seen him bowl there. Very successful as well. What do you think of him as a bowler?
2021 is the first time that I kind of saw him, and that spell of bowling against India in the T20 World Cup just like literally destroyed the top order. I think he got Rohit, he got KL Rahul, he nearly got Virat. So that I don't see that guy anymore, unfortunately. I don't know what it is. Is he carrying an injury that we don't know about? Is something going on in his personal life that we don't know about? I'm pretty happy not knowing about it. But what I'm trying to understand is that where is that guy I saw in 2021? I'm happy as an India fan. I'm happy that he's not there. To be very honest with you, right? Very, very happy. But having said that, when you see a bowler of that caliber, kind of not living up to the expectations over a period of time. I understand one bad tournament and two bad tournaments and that happens, but he's really not turned up. Ravi Shastri said this, that, he's a tic-tac bowler. A tic-tac loosely kind of translates to he's an okay bowler, right? I don't know why everyone's making such a big deal out of him. And of course, Ravi Shastri knows cricket much, much better than I do. And to some extent, I think I agree with him. But there are glimpses of that bowler that I've seen, which I cannot just see anymore. So I don't know what's happening over there. Leader of the pack, yes, for sure. Out of all the names that I see, he definitely is the one who will be spearheading that attack, and rightly so. But a lot depends on him. Pakistan's success in this tournament, a lot depends on Shaheen Shafridi. Let's see how he kind of turns up.
100%. And let's look at the explosive opener then, Fakhar Zaman. He knows how to score big. He knows how to get his team over the line and to set the tone for a match, right?
Right. Absolutely. And I think Fakhar Zaman is one of those players who's got a plethora of experience behind him. Like you correctly said, I think he's played a lot of cricket in Dubai. So he understands the conditions. And I shouldn't say Dubai, I should say UAE. I think, he understands the conditions really well. And if I am to take India out of the picture and look at Pakistan against the other teams, I feel... they really have a very good chance. It's not that they're bad. However, the only team that I see apart from India giving them a run for their money is Afghanistan. So, that matchup is something that we should definitely discuss going forward. But having said that, I think Fakhar Zaman, class act, no doubt in that. I think, again, lacks consistency. That's where I will kind of take away his points.
Yeah, and you mentioned Afghanistan there. Let's finish on one last player then. Of course, it's got to be Rashid Khan, the captain. What do you make of him as a player? He's just had an incredible 100 tournament over here in the UK. I mean, he just seems consistent is the word. He's consistently incredibly good at what he does and at his trade.
I always say this. I have a lot of respect for people who do their job with a smile on their face, right? And if your job is playing cricket and you kind of turn up every single day with a smile on your face and you get the wickets and of course you whack the bowlers across the ground as well, I think that is something that this man has kind of got. I've seen him very closely at the Gujarat Titans, and he has kind of put his stamp on that team as well. He is definitely the one who's going to be very, very hungry. If I'm not mistaken, very recently, I think just a couple of days back, a tragedy has struck his family. I think he's lost his brother just a couple of days back. And I think these kind of things also sometimes kind of fuel you, right? So Rashid Khan definitely is the top player that I'm looking out for in this tournament. And what to say, man? He's just such a nice guy. Like you see him, you just feel happy. Every time you see Rashid Khan, you just feel happy. Even if he's playing for against you, you just feel happy. Like, hey, Rashid Bhai is here. And that is, I think, what he brings into his cricket as well. It's not just that he's a great guy and an average cricketer. He's a great guy and a great cricketer. And coming from Afghanistan and the kind of stuff that he's done for the country, it speaks volumes. So yes, Rashid Khan definitely one of the top people for player of the tournament is what I'm thinking.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's move on to matchups then, the all-important matchups category. We've got to obviously start with India, Pakistan, a high-intensity match for everyone involved, including the crowd and the players. How do you see that match playing out?
I have a feeling it's going to be a one-sided game. Unfortunately, that's what we saw in the Champions Trophy as well. I really wish, like I was talking about the rivalry and how it was taking shape in the 1990s and the early 90s, right? Late 80s and early 90s, when it was really, really kind of a matchup, where you didn't know who is going to win. It's gone down to 6 needed of the last ball, and Javed Miandad has hit Chetan Sharma for a sixer and has won the game, and this has happened in Sharjah, right? So that is the kind of rivalry that it used to be. Okay. Now, unfortunately, what I feel is that the hype has become more about the fact that the geopolitical situation is a little tense. We've nearly gone into war, the two countries. Very, very recently, I think, just a couple of months back, in fact, right? Things were really hot at that time. And I think that is what is shaping the rivalry. If I am just to talk cricket, I think India are miles ahead of Pakistan. Having said that, cricket is a funny game. You don't know. It's on that day. Somebody just kind of comes and sweeps everybody away. Those things have happened in the past as well. But if I'm to just look at it on paper, and I'm looking at my iPad with both the sides stacked up against each other, I don't see Pakistan winning that match unless India really, really play badly. So on paper, no, Jess, I don't think that's happening. What do you think?
I think, do you know what? I was about to say I completely agree with you. I think that, as you say, it's become more one-sided potentially over the last few years between those two. It used to be, as you say, who's going to win? It was this big question in cricket: who's going to win between India and Pakistan? But now it seems very one-sided, and India always seem the favourites. But you rightly mentioned a few minutes back, but at the start of the podcast, that India have such a long list of players to choose from to create their playing 11, but all of them seem equally as strong. So yeah, I think as a whole, as a squad, they are very strong coming up against a squad like Pakistan. But are there any other matchups that you've seen for the Asia Cup that are coming up that you've sort of particularly looking forward to?
I really want to see a Pakistan-Afghanistan game. So but I as they're in two different groups, I think that can only happen at the knockouts. If that happens, that is something that I would look forward to. Afghanistan-Bangladesh is going to be a good game. That I feel is going to be an interesting game. Everyone's talking about all the teams. I mean, both of us are talking about all the teams apart from Sri Lanka. I don't know why we are kind of not being not kind of keeping them in mind. Sri Lanka over the years in Asian tournaments have done decently well. It's not that they're a weak team. And if I'm looking at Group B, that's Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Hong Kong, and Sri Lanka. Of course, Hong Kong, I'll be happily surprised if they do well. And I've always been a supporter of the underdogs, but I don't see them. With the current setup and the teams that are they're going against, I don't see them making it out of the group stage. But Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, it might just get tricky, because those three teams are really, really strong.
But yeah, let's look. So again, just to remind everybody, Group A, Group B. So we've got Group A, India, Pakistan, Oman, UAE. Group B, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Hong Kong, Sri Lanka. Who are your top two from Group A?
I think Group A it's a no-brainer, right? I think it is India, Pakistan. These are the two who are going to be India 1, Pakistan 2. Because Oman, UAE over the last couple of years, they've kind of transformed into a promising cricketing team. But I don't see them beating India or Pakistan or kind of getting out of the group into the knockouts right now with the current setup. I think if we see Oman versus UAE, that's going to be a very interesting game, of course. Oman being the neighbors, it's like a India-Pakistan in a different sense. But UAE Oman is going to be a good game, but like I said, India Pakistan for sure. Group B is where I feel Afghanistan is going to top the table, and the takeaway is going to be between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. They're going to fight for that second position, to make it into the semis. Hong Kong, of course, might have that one day where they beat one of the giants. They become the David, but that's pretty much what I feel. What about you?
I think you're dead right. I think, again, I've got pretty much the same thing written down as you. I think Group A, we're looking India, Pakistan. I think, as I mentioned, UAE being hosts, they could potentially be a force to be reckoned with. They are a relatively young squad, but of course they've then got some big hitters and big players as well in their squad. So unpredictable. Group B, I could think again, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, potentially Bangladesh. I think if we're going off recent performance, possibly more Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, I'm leaning more towards. But yeah, so pretty much similar predictions. But I think as well, as you quite rightly said, I'm all for the underdogs. I would love to see Hong Kong come up against Afghanistan and hit them out the park. I think that'd be a great, or Oman against India and beat them by 100 runs. I think that would be something that we'd all greatly benefit from seeing. But yeah, I think it could go either way.
I don't agree with Oman beating India, man. I'm not very happy about you say. but no, of course, if that happens, that is going to be like front page news across the cricketing world. If that happens, but I don't see that happening. However, what I do see happening, and it's probably more realistic for that to happen, is Hong Kong beating either Bangladesh, Afghanistan, or Sri Lanka. I think that actually might happen. So yeah, let's see. You never know.
We'll see.
You know what? Just for the sake of it, I think UAE might just beat Pakistan.
Do you know what? It wouldn't be.
You never know.
First thing, it'd be a great match to see. But yeah, I'm always rooting for the underdogs. I hope they do well. But yeah, let's talking on the UAE subject then. Let's touch on UAE playing conditions. Now we've said that UAE know the conditions and Pakistan know the conditions, but someone else who might know the conditions is you, Sammy. You've had your fair share of experience on the pitch in Dubai. How have you seen playing conditions maybe affect games?
So the good part is that all the games are happening in the evening, right? So if we are talking about the Dubai Stadium is very different conditions when the game starts between that 7:30 time, and it changes very drastically post 8:30, 8:45, right? So I always say this, that if you want to have a good chance in Dubai, so let's say if it is a matchup between two teams who are equally stacked, equally poised, right? That one difference that can be like the one factor that can be the difference, according to me, is when you chase, because it becomes a little more batting friendly. All right. The weather cools down. There's a breeze coming in. I think something happens to the soil. I'm not too sure what, but it becomes a batter's paradise at that time. Dubai is that. The tricky one is going to be Abu Dhabi, because Abu Dhabi has a mind of its own. Mm-hmm. If you see over the years, we've seen this, that there is not really a formula where you can say that, okay, win the toss, chase, or win the toss, bat first. I'd love to maybe kind of take a look at the percentage of teams who have batted first and won. The team batting second have won 58.3% of the matches, right? So that means, again, this is another stadium where you would probably want to bat second, chase down a total, have a total in your mind, because a team batting first is winning 41.7%, which is not bad, but there's definitely, that margin. But it's funny. I was just telling you about Dubai and how you should bat second and how you should bat second, right? And I took a look at that as well. It's so close. The team batting first have won 49.1% of the matches. Team batting second have won 50.9% of the matches. So it's even Stevens. Yeah, it's even Stevens over there. So that's interesting. But about Abu Dhabi, I feel batting second will definitely help over there. The conditions are also that a strong team will understand the conditions on that given day better. Not just the pitch. I feel it's also the overall conditions, right? Because you're playing in the middle of the desert. So a lot of things kind of change very quickly over there. So if that happens, then I feel Abu Dhabi might just be the one that gives us some really, really interesting matchups.
100%. And now let's just look at a little bit of the young talent before we finish up the podcast. Now, of course, young talent, always the important players. They keep the squad going, new players in all the time. Who are some standout young players to you coming into this competition, any team?
So I think before we kind of get to that, I'd like to talk about a couple of players who missed out for Team India, right? The first one would be Yashasvi Jaiswal. I think him not being in the squad came as a surprise to everybody. But what I feel is that what let him down is his fielding in England. So if you see, he's scored some really good games, some really good runs in some of the games, but his catching has not been up to the mark, and his fielding overall, as we all know that in T20, right, it's the fielding that plays a very, very important part in you winning or losing a match, because it's just that one run or those two runs at the end of the day that make a difference, right? So I think that's where he's missed out. But the one that kind of makes no sense to me is Shreyas Iyer. I don't know what happened there. I really, really don't know. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I think there was Instagram, X, everyone had gone like bonkers when the squads were announced about Shreyas Iyer and why he's not in the squad.
We're touching on the more younger players. Let's have a look at a few. Of course, in the India squad, we've got Harshit Rana as one of their standout bowlers. New face to the India squad as well. What do you think of him as a player?
He is Gautam Gambhir's favorite child. And I'm not saying this with a negative connotation. A lot of people can misinterpret this saying that, because Gautam is in the team, he's getting his own people in. It's not with that connotation that I'm saying it. Gautam Gambhir and Harshit Rana have worked together in KKR. I think as a coach, as a mentor, he really understands what that bowler is all about, right? He definitely sees a lot of potential in him, and he's not the only one. When I look at it very objectively, I see a lot of potential in Harshit Rana as well. It's just that I think we are going back in time to 2007 to 2012, 2013, when MS and Gary Kirsten had made this culture in the team where, we will give you a run. You don't have to worry about getting dropped. You just go out there and perform. If you perform, great. If you don't, we'll try and fix what is going on. If you if you don't perform, that is when we are going to look at other alternatives. I think that is the mindset of the Indian cricket team and the management with Harshit Rana. Definitely a bowler to look out for. If I was Harshit Rana, you know what I would do? I would spend my days and my nights, my lunches and my dinners and my breakfasts, everything with Jasprit Bumrah. That's what I would have done. I would have become like a leech to that man and would have stuck onto him and tried to suck out as much information, learning, understanding that I can, and also make him see me bowl at the nets. Every time I'd be like, Bumrah bhai, please come and stand over here for 15 minutes. Just look at me bowling and tell me what I'm not saying that the coaches are not there for that. I'm not saying that. Of course, the coaches will look at you technically, understand, give you feedback. All of that is there. But, at the end of the day, a player is a player, just the way you say that there's an entire team in F1, but at the end of the day, it's a driver who needs to drive the car. Right? It's the same, I think, for players. So Harshit Rana is somebody I am really, really excited to see in the Asia Cup this year. What about you? Who are you looking at?
I think, he was my main one. He was the one that I'd be looking at. But yeah, I look at Harshit and his performance in Champions Trophy, especially if we're talking most recent times. Of course, bowled incredibly well last year in the IPL. Also, but yeah, I think he's definitely one to look out for as well. Okay, finally then, let's talk predictions. Who is going into the final first off? Like, who's winning? Who's going into the final? Who are your top two?
India. 1 second.
Of course.
Okay. Yes, of course. Right. India for sure. I think that spot is taken. The real fight is, I think, for spot number 2. To who plays India in the finals, If I am to go by history and what I see on paper, I think Pakistan for sure. It's going to be tricky, but I feel it's going to be either Pakistan or Afghanistan. I really feel that Afghanistan might have a trick or two up their sleeves, which, everybody knows that they are dangerous, but somehow I feel that the world does not really seem to still get over the fact that they have really graduated out of what they used to be, the Afghanistan team of 10 years back, who we would not take seriously. Now, I think every time they do well, the world is surprised. Oh, Afghanistan did well. Yes, look at the kind of work that they've done over the last half a decade, 5 years. They've got a good system in place. They've got some great coaches coming in. Ajay Jadeja went and coached them for a bit. They've got some really, really good talent. Their selection process has become really good. The only thing I think that they're lacking is the domestic cricket. But don't be surprised if you see Afghanistan making the finals and playing India in the finals. Don't be surprised,
Right.
So these are my three teams. I can't do two, unfortunately. India is taken. So for number two, I'll say Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Very good. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. But I think India, I'd be very shocked if they don't make it all the way and potentially even win it. Because don't forget as well, Sri Lanka have won it, their fair share of times as well. So so we'll see. Different format, of course. It's not ODI. So anyway, but I don't think I need to ask this question. I think it's very telling by what you're wearing. Who's winning? Who's winning the Asia Cup, Sammy?
All right. Record this line. If you're watching this on your TV sets or your computers, take out your mobile phones and switch on your cameras, go to video recording and record this line and keep it, because it is true that India is winning the Asia Cup of 2025. Thank you very much.
Very well said. Very well said. I had a feeling that was going to be the way it was going to go. Yes. Yeah, I have to agree. That has to also be my prediction. I think India will win it. Looking at their squad, looking at the lineup, I think they'll win it. They've got a good chance. Anyway, we'll see. Starting on the 9th of September, of course, so not too long to wait now either. This is obviously being recorded on the 2nd of September as well, for anyone that's interested. So very short amount of time, we will see who'll be lifting that Asia Cup trophy. Well, Sammy, it's been a pleasure chatting to you today. You've had some incredible insights, wealth of knowledge, of course. Thank you so much for joining us on the Beyond the Game podcast.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Jess. It's always a pleasure to see you and to chat cricket with you. I hope we get to do this more often, and the next time we are not separated by screens, we're doing it, face to face. So thank you so very much for having me, and it was an absolute pleasure.
Lovely. Thank you.